As the war in Iraq wages on, a growing number of troops are returning home with extensive wounds.
And while advances in medicine make it possible to treat those injuries unlike in any battle before, the Veterans Administration is stretched beyond its resources. News at 9's Kate Stacy found an agency is enlisting the help of surgeons across the nation and even right here in Missouri to help pick up where the government has left off.
That's right. The foundation is working to erase both the physical and emotional scars of those who've served our country. The organization operates with the idea of treating troops like stars, Iraq stars. To have a conversation with Staff Sergeant Paul McQuigg, you really have to listen.
She said they hit my ID.
And when you do, he has a life-changing story to tell.
I lost 60% of the front of my tongue, 40% of the back of my tongue.
It was an attack that almost landed McQuigg in the morgue instead of on the operating table.
My Marines told me that when they put me on the helicopter there, some of them said they didn't think they'd ever see me alive again.
A bomb struck the Marines' convoy on February 26, 2006. McQuigg suffered the worst of all injuries. A shattered jaw, severe concussion, collapsed lung, and lacerations to the face, mouth, and neck have brought him to more than a dozen operating rooms like this one at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis.
It could be a lot worse. It's something that, you just don't deal with.
Support from his father, mother, and young son make each day a little more bearable. But what's really giving McQuigg a shot at his pre-war smile is a newly founded agency, appropriately called Iraq Star.
No, I'm not a star or anything like that. I'm just a normal guy that does what he's supposed to do to, get by every day at a time, and that's what I have to do.
The organization's founder, Maggie Lockridge, says the play on words is no joke. She considers McQuigg and the more than 24,000 wounded troops coming home heroes.
They're just such a great example of America today, and they have so much patriotism in them, and they're soldiers to the core.
But behind the badges and battle wounds, they often lack the means to return to the way they looked before they hit the front line.
It's the rest of their lives that are involved here. They want to have children, they want to get married, they want to have a normal life, they want to get back into society. If they feel better about the way they look, they're going to feel better dealing with all of the emotional trauma that they have to deal with also.
Lockridge knows. Not only was she a Vietnam-era Air Force nurse, she spent more than a decade catering to celebrities, running a recovery retreat for plastic surgery patients. After seeing news coverage of wartime wounds, though, she focused her resources on reaching out to soldiers.
When I saw these young people, it was like, oh my God, I can do something. I know I can. I've got all this basic knowledge. I've got all these surgeons. I've got the time on my hands now. I can do this.
In less than a year, Iraq Star already has 140 surgeons in 35 states. McQuigg's surgery in St. Louis makes him one of about 20 soldiers seeking help from the nationwide program, picking up the cost of some very expensive procedures.
Just the OR, $8,000.
Surgeries like this one come with criticism. There have been questions as to why Iraq Star is soliciting donations for operations that could be paid for by the government.
If it's a wound that I think the government's responsible for, we'll let Uncle Sam take care of it. So if they refuse it, fine, we'll pay for it, but we always try.
Lockridge looks at her daily work as picking up where the government leaves off.
They thought we were saying they weren't doing their business or they weren't doing it right or whatever, and that wasn't the case. It's just that they don't do all the aesthetics.
Like the kind of cosmetics that have surgeons taking tissue from McQuigg's thigh to rebuild his tongue, in hopes that he'll speak clearly and swallow whole foods again soon. And while it might not give him the life he wants,
I'd be back in Iraq.
Even after being injured, no second thoughts?
No second thoughts.
It gives him a chance to support the troops he's no longer taking into combat.
I do miss him. You just never forget where I came from.
Staff Sergeant McQuigg says he knows he has a tough battle still ahead of him, and he's hoping that his story might help other soldiers in similar condition.
There's people out there that are willing to help more so now than ever before, so it's nice to take advantage of it.
But just like McQuigg, other injured soldiers are very proud.
It's not macho to be worried about your scar on your face.
There's hope that just as troops ask for backup during a military operation, they'll do the same when it comes to medical help.
And it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of being a man and actually saying, hey, this is something that I need.
Paul McQuig's surgery went very well. While doctors thought it would be much less, 60% of his tongue was replaced. He was in St. Louis last week for a follow-up and is speaking better and working on swallowing. He tells me therapy starts next week, and so far things are going great.
Oh, that's such good news. It's wonderful to hear. So, Kate, this war has been very divisive in many ways. Has that had any kind of an effect on this Iraq Star program?
I talked with program founders and doctors about that. The founder tells me that politics are not affecting doctors' will to help. Soldiers say, really they were just doing their job and they need this help regardless of their political views on the war. Also, Iraq Star is looking for more donations, both of time and money. They need surgeons to do that pro bono work. They need donors to put the money forward because it is very expensive. Also, they're looking for more troops to come forward for these surgeries. They know they're out there. They even talked about Fort Leonard Wood being here in our backyard, and they really want to help those people who need it. You can find all of that information on our website, ozarksfirst.com.
And just like the founder said, a lot of people don't want to focus on the aesthetics part, but, it is making a difference.
Yes.
So, wow. All right. Kate Stacy, thanks for that report.